I'm aware that we're aware with an amendment down. It certainly is. And the haulage industry is so vital. So vital that you have one of your candidates now actually standing in Wexford, so you must be getting around to understanding how vital it is. As Deputy Fitzmaurice said, we have so little rail or canals or any other kinds of transport. The road haulage industry is vital to our survival. Our exports, vital number one, and our imports, but our exports. Any bit of farm produce that we have, there's very, very little that goes by air, and any bit of other goods that we export internationally is, first of all, by haulier. And the haulage association, I salute them. I salute, many of them are started small, very small, and now many of them have gone into 1 or 5 trucks, 10 trucks, some of them into dozens and more. And they have gone through hell with the last number of years, with everything, with insurance, which you have done nothing about, literally, which this diesel rebate scheme then was introduced. But it's so difficult to reclaim. And, I mean, why can't you do something tangible rather than having to kind of, goodness knows that diesel is so dear as it is. For a car or a van, I might say that big trucks cost 600, 700, 800, maybe €1,000 to fill them. So I believe that this rebate scheme isn't doing what it says in the tin. Hasn't been any haulier you tell you they'll talk to you and they'll have their annual night of lobbying here, I think next week or the week after, and they come every year. But we know, you must know as well. Certainly Minister Moran and Minister Darcy must know, because they're in rural Ireland, and many of the haulage companies are based in rural Ireland, some in Dublin as well, but they are struggling. And, I have been asked, by many hauliers with the RSA out there, and they're needed certainly, but there's certain roads in the one in Deputy O'Keefe's county from Mitchelstown to Mallow, and they've been checked regularly by the RSA. There's bushes hanging out in the road, and there's inclines in the road, and the damage to those trucks is shocking. And if the RSA waiting at the other end to just penalise the hauliers, the hauliers have to be of a very high standard now, and they are. And the trucks have tachographs, and rightly so, and they have all the tests twice a year, and the trailers. But driving one of these roads, one journey in this road, it's knocked out of kilter, the lining, the whole suspensions, and indeed mirrors, which could cost up to £500 for a mirror. So they need to be supported in tangible measures. And we don't need to be victimised when there are issues like that. The RSA need to understand that the laden weight, that's all on the axles. I understand a small bit of myself, and the calibration of those axles can easily be shifted and distorted, and they're pulled in with a giant checkpoint with traffic core, RSA, you name it, and there's calibration checked, and it could be out, and that's brought to weighing scales and brought maybe a huge distance away, and gone through the rigours, and there are penalty points if there's issues. I mean, fair is fair, and let the people who have the trucks tested. They shouldn't be, especially when we haven't the road network. The motorway is fine, yes, thank God, but we haven't the road network on the Carhillock, we understand, in parts of Galway as well. Many parts of the country don't have the road network, and the Road Haulage Association have done many videos where they have to drive out in the middle of the road to keep out from the overhanging trees, otherwise they break their mirrors. But this is only the rebate scheme that you introduced 2 years ago now, I think, is just not simple. It's not, I won't say simple, but it's not easy to navigate. And that's what they're telling me. Now, I'm not a road haulier, I'm an agricultural contractor, certainly, and I understand the issues there with no rebate scheme. So you might say a bird in the bush is better than two in the hand. A bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. But certainly they want... Sorry? Lots of bushes. Lots of bushes. That's the problem. You have Minister Madigan won't allow him cut the bushes. We give 2 years debating it here, and we finally passed that you could cut them with under supervision in March and indeed in August. Of course, you just drove a couch and forward through it. Talk to any haulier, you know him, Minister Moran. The mayors, as I said, they just keep breaking off, and I mean, they're doing their best. They have huge onerous restrictions with the tachograph. They have huge onerous restrictions with insurance. They have the drivers, I salute them too, and then what they have to face in Cali. With the time we're talking about the migrants and the stowaways, and to try to protect their trucks. Innocent unsuspecting drivers, and there are all kinds of sophisticated methods now of getting access into their trucks with the sealed containers. Apparently they can cut off the hinges, but I mean they have to live with all that as well, and so they need tangible support. And it's an industry that's so vital to our economy. And you can laugh if you like about the bushes, Minister, or the bushels, or whatever you want to call them, but they're a vital industry, give massive employment and a massive service, dedicated service to rural Ireland, whether it be the bulk tanks going in and out the boreens, in and out to collect the milk. And, you know, as I said, a load of milk, a load of liquid in, is much more difficult to transport because it moves and sways. And you have to be very careful and respectful drivers. And as I said, the RSA need to be pulled back and give the benefit of the doubt. As I said, if they're travelling the road, Deputy O'Keefe, I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's such a desperate road and needs improvement. And they travel that road and they're waiting from the other end. And it might be perfect hitting that stretch of road and many other stretches of road. This is one that I've been lobbied about by a big haulage company from Care. And as I said, they're pulling them in then, the white overalls lining under the trucks with the calibrators checking for lack of calibration. That is grossly unfair. These are decent people, providing huge employment, ensuring that our exports and imports, but exports mainly we're talking about, are got to the ports on time and got to across the channel and indeed got to destinations on time. As we know, you have only a limited shelf life of many issues, and they need to be supported. So this scheme is too cumbersome. And why the rebate? Why not just something across the board? Because the diesel has gone up enormously in the last year, so why not give them something up front, not to be paying it and then wait and come back, whatever, is a couple of months after, I think, try and claim it back. I know how difficult it is to get back rebates or anything else, so this is not working, Minister, and I'm appealing to you, for Deputy Fitzmaurice and myself, for appealing to you to, in good faith with the hauliers, with the worries of Brexit and everything else, to try and show solidarity, show your candidate in Wexford, good friend of mine, Ms Murphy, show that you mean business, that you're not going to silence her on any issues. Support her. Enact the Corla Kayla. Leave her, she's a good lady, understands intimately you think I was canvassing her now, understands intimately the pressures of the haulage industry.
Thank you.
No, I mean, fair is fair. I praise the bridges I go over. She knows her stuff and she's well capable. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Minister.
Thank you very much, Cahirlock. I want to thank the deputies for their contributions. So Deputy Fitzmaurice has already gone through the issues here, and I won't repeat the views that we exchanged earlier on. I take a different view to the Deputy on the matters that he's referring to. But of course, I respect all he does know about these issues and the way he's putting them forward. Deputy McGrath, I don't believe, understands the haulage sector at all. He has no knowledge of it, and he admitted himself that he's not a haulier. I'm not one either, Deputy, but I have significant engagement with the haulage sector, and the supports, the rebate scheme, the different changes that we have made available are appreciated by the sector, are understood by the sector, and have made a very big difference to the various issues that they have put forward now over recent years. I support road safety. I support the Road Safety Authority. The work that they are doing is very valuable for keeping our roads safe, for keeping those who are driving our trucks safe, and also for keeping other road users safe. You don't appear to place such a value on those matters. I do. And I believe the kind of work that is happening and the kind of work that the Road Safety Authority are doing is absolutely critical for ensuring that those who are on our roads are safe, and for those who are driving our trucks are also kept safe too. The diesel rebate scheme that is in place is one that was put in place to recognise the importance of the haulage sector to our economy. And when this finance bill brought in a different level of carbon pricing, we made the changes that were needed in the diesel rebate scheme to ensure that the haulage sector would receive a degree of enhanced protection from the higher level of carbon pricing, precisely because of the recognition that I have for the haulage sector here in Ireland and for the really important role they play in moving goods around our country, and for the critical role they play in our export sector. I understand the sector, Deputy Mattie McGrath, you don't. We're looking to put in forward and have put in place really significant supports for the sector that are understood and appreciated and recognised by them. I'll continue in that approach, but I also have to get the balance right between ensuring that anybody who is using our roads, anybody who's consuming diesel, that the incentives that are there over time to try to be more energy efficient, to try to make the kind of change that we need to do, while also having in place the kind of support that the haulage sector does need, which I have done and which this government has done.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you.